Hello everyone, in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 habits that will keep you effective and relevant as a software developer in 2025. Now you may be wondering, why am I talking about habits? Why am I not talking about something else like front-end frameworks like Angular, React, Vue.js, or back-end languages or runtime environments like Node.js, or probably how to integrate an AI tool or how to integrate public REST APIs? Well, it's important to take a little break and look at how the coding landscape or the programming landscape has changed over the last few years. That is why I've decided to do this video to share with you habits that are required for you to survive and stay among the 1% of software developers in 2025. As we all know, AI tools and large language models have been popping up here and there. We have so much large language models out there like Cloud, DeepSeek, Falcon, Gemini, Gemma, GPT-3, 3.5, GPT-4, and so much more. You still have others like Lambda, Llama. All these AI tools keep springing up every day, and as a software developer, you need to understand your workflow would keep evolving faster as these AI tools are popping up. So it's critical to build routines and healthy habits that will keep you ahead or on par with the curve. If you are new to this channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you click or smash the notification bell so that I can get up-to-date videos on this YouTube channel. And with that, let's dive right into the healthy habits I believe every software developer out there should know about. Obviously, the first habit I would recommend every software developer out there to adopt in 2025 is to leverage artificial intelligence. Now, at this point in 2025, we all have to agree that artificial intelligence is not here to take our jobs as software developer. Rather, it's here to increase, amplify, and help us with our productivity. Because when you look at tools like GitHub Copilot, Tab9, or AI assistants like ChatGPT, Gemini, as I mentioned earlier, they are here to help us to make meaningful suggestions to our code base. So if you are a developer out there and you are very, very conservative, you don't like these AI tools and you've refused to adopt and leverage on them, I think you might be left behind at some point. So you need to have a second consideration for these AI tools because they are highly effective currently as coding assistants to provide you with meaningful suggestions and even generate entire functions. So if you are new to AI, one good place to start is prompt engineering, and I highly recommend this course on Educative, which talks about all you need to know about prompt engineering. You get to know the meaning of prompt engineering, how to design high quality prompts to guide and produce accurate output for you. So I was able to go through this course, and I think I'll highly recommend it for anyone out there apart from even software developers, because at the end of the day, the best way to take advantage and utilize these tools is to know how they work, and this course is able to do that because when you go through it, you'll be able to understand the principles and techniques of prompt engineering, which helps you to produce meaningful and productive outputs. So I'll leave the link to this course in the description box. You can go through it and then see how important and how it can make your workflow productive. Another important habit every software developer out there should adopt in 2025 is automation. I know a lot of us are familiar with the word automation, but still, I think this has to be emphasized because you need to just simply cut out the repetitive tasks in your code base or in your workflow, because when you perform repetitive tasks such as probably editing configuration files all around the code base, or probably you are formatting a code according to style guide and performing a manual deployment setup and probably generating reports from data manually. When you perform all these manual tasks, it kind of reduces productivity. And remember, we're in 2025, the world moves at a much more faster pace, so it's important to adopt automation than any other time in our lifetime. If you want to probably do a form of deployment, to adopt a solid CI/CD pipeline that ensures consistency so that you don't end up making manual errors. And when you do it manually, it's kind of cost the business money, because at the end of the day, time is money. So automation helps to increase productivity, so you can focus on the real problems and move at a much faster pace. Now, as a developer, if you've never taken any course on automation, another course I'll recommend to you is on Educative. It's called Automating with Node.js. This course would open your eyes to the way automation works in terms of scripting. So I highly recommend this course, and I'll drop the link also in the description box so you can go through it and see how it can help you open up your mind to automation. Now, the third habit I would encourage software developers out there to adopt in 2025 is to keep learning. There's a powerful quote out there that says, anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. This quote highlights the importance of lifelong learning as a key to remaining intellectually vibrant and adaptable. In the software development landscape, we all know that things tend to change rapidly over time, so you cannot just stop learning. You have to keep learning, and there are various ways in which you can keep up to date with the changes in technology and remain relevant on your job. You can do this by enrolling in courses, attending meetups, reading newsletters, and even following blogs online such as the Free Code Camp blog. I think that's one of the powerful blogs out there, and we also have those on dev.to and Ashnode. Now, when it comes to another skill I think developers might want to improve upon, I would recommend a system design skill which will help improve your interview skills. Now, there's a course on Educative that covers this, which is called Grokking the System Design Interview. In this course, which is developed by Meta and Google developers, you get to master distributed system fundamentals and practice with real-world interview questions and mock interviews. I highly recommend this course because it will help you keep your skill as a software developer relevant, and then we know interviews are something that we tend to come in touch with over time as software developers. So for you to be able to scale the interview process, this is a course I think you should take a look at. I'm sure you learn one or two new things from this course. Another important habit which I think software developers should develop in 2025 is communication and collaboration skill. Now, according to Paul J. Meyer, communication is the key to personal and career success. Now, this quote sounds simple, but at the same time is very powerful in the sense that in 2025, soft skills are hard requirements. Now, learning how to use tools like Jira, Slack, or Notion for clear communication is very, very important as a software developer. Now, I want to tell you about one of the experiences I had at one of the jobs I've worked in. Now, there's this developer that likes working on his own. He doesn't like using these communication tools like Slack, or which is what we use at that point. And it was broadcasted on one of the Slack channels that a feature had already been implemented, and we should pick other tickets which has not been worked on. But because this developer likes working without checking the Slack channels or communicating with other developers, he ended up implementing this same task that has already been implemented. So by the time we had this stand-up meeting the next day and everyone was talking about the task they worked on, and he ended up repeating that same task which has already been implemented, and he ended up looking stupid. And I mean, in that process, he has already wasted the company's time and resources on something that has already been implemented. So when you look at what Steve Jobs says, great things in businesses are never done by one person, they are done by a team of people. This is why communication and collaboration is highly important. And also, as software developers, we also need to master version control in terms of creating a clean pull request and clear commit messages. These are very, very important in terms of communication, and which is why I'm going to emphasize that developers should learn how to make use of these communication tools. Now, the final habit I would encourage software developers to develop out there in 2025 is to learn how to take meaningful breaks. Now, there's a statistics out there that says software developers spend around 8 to 12 hours per day staring at screens, both during work hours and in their leisure time, including activities like gaming, watching TV, or browsing their phones. This significantly leads to eye strain and other health issues. Now, as software developers, I know our job revolves around staring at screen. Now, I saw a post on Quora that talks about a publication that was made on a blog which is called Towards Data Science. It talks about someone called Jerry. When they started their job as a junior developer, they couldn't wait to get to work each morning. I mean, remember the excitement of when you start learning to code, and each evening, even after 10 hours work days, they still feel energized. Now, 2 years later, Jerry looks the shadow of what they used to be. Getting out of bed is hard these days. Getting to work even harder. By the end of the day, they feel exhausted and drained, and they are already dreading the thought of going back tomorrow and wasting yet another day of their life. Now, this is what is called burnout. When you spend so much time without taking break at work, you end up getting burnt out, because your brain and your body, they need time off So there are various ways in which you can take time off from your job, some of which includes using the Pomodoro technique to structure deep work and take breaks in between. You can step away for walks, take naps, or dedicate days where you have no screen hobby, whereby you spend the entire day without staring at screens at all. So just like muscles grow between workouts, we code better after we rest. So that's it, guys. This is all the 5 habits I'm going to encourage us to adopt in 2025 as software developers. If you like the video, you can give it a like. Thank you very much for watching this one and staying tuned. I'll see you again in the next one. Adios.